How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm joined by my client, Andy. We've been working together for about a year now. He's seen tremendous results in the health optimization program, and we have a lot of exciting stuff that we're going to dive into today about his journey, the results he's been able to see, and how he's been able to create a very well-structured lifestyle change. And I can't wait to dive into all of it. Welcome to the channel, Andy.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Very cool. Yeah, I'd love to just dive right in, man. So tell me, tell the audience, just a little bit more about, who you are, what you do, and what led to us connecting.
So basically about a year and a half ago, I was at a point in my life where I felt like I needed to change. I wanted to get healthier. I wanted to build muscle. I wanted to look better in clothing, not have fat and things like that. And then in life, I was going through a divorce, working my butt off. I was in a rough patch, just really stressful environment. And I kind of stopped and I told myself that I need to do something. I want to start going to the gym, getting healthy. So actually on Instagram, I was just, looking around and I think that's how I came across you. And I believe you sent me a message on Instagram. And then from there, we did a phone interview or we did a Zoom interview and the rest is history, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It was so good for us to connect. I'm so glad I was able to help you. Really appreciate you sharing that as well. So I'd like to dive in a little bit deeper into that as well. So do you mind sharing with us a little bit more of like the experiences or really the challenges that you were going through at the time before we started to work together?
Yeah. So before, I was eating unhealthy. I was just eating whatever I could. I had no like a schedule or no what's the word I'm looking for? No track of what I was eating. I was just whatever I saw I would eat. Working out wise, man, I probably got into the gym if I could once a week. And when I got in the gym, I had no structure. I just went in there and I just did some random stuff and I wasn't seeing any results. So that was like kind of discouraging. Um and then again, just over time, kind of just going, I can't keep doing this. I need some kind of structure. So then again, just going on Instagram, kind of just looking around, just trying to, actually, I was kind of looking up workouts on Instagram, different exercises and things like that. And then that's how I saw you come up. And then I think I went to your page. I saw what you were doing. And then from there, I think I sent you a message. And then from there, you contacted me and, you know, we started up.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It was good.
But
And it's really
sorry.
interesting because like what you described is what a lot of guys are currently going through right now, right? They'll just go to the gym
Yeah.
and like they'll just kind of like fly by the seat of their pants and just kind of do whatever, which can work for some time, but when you have that structure, it really does become a game
Yeah.
changer. So,
Oh,
speaking
definitely.
of that, like, what changed for you, like, once we started to work together, once we started to apply, a real plan and structure with your workouts to start with?
So the program that you got me set up with, it gave me that routine and it kind of put the goals out in front of me, which really, really made it easier for me to dedicate and structure what I need to in life to fulfill the routine. It was, I took it on as a challenge, which was great for me. I got good results from that, but building up to starting the routine with you, I was nervous as heck. I'll admit that I didn't know what to expect. I was like, man, what's going to happen? I had doubts that I would even be able to stay consistent with it. But the way that you kind of were able to get me going smoothly, slowly, and then from there slowly transition and slowly build it up, build it up, build it up. It really kept me going. It kept me on routine. It kept me kind of planned out. Like, hey, I got to hit the gym on this day. I got to do this. I already got the workout set up for me. Then that's just the workout part. Then the nutrition part, that was a whole different world for me. Going over our Zoom interviews, or our Zoom contacts, you helping me out with planning meals, meal preparation, what to eat, what to avoid, things like that. Because again, before that, I had no structure with meals. I was just eating whatever. I wasn't eating enough protein. I was eating, you know, just eating things I probably shouldn't have been eating at that time, which through the program, I really learned how to cut down, really learn what is benefiting my body and what's helping me burn, what's helping me keep fat and things like that. It opened my eyes to a lot more than I was expecting.
Absolutely. And it's so good, because you could be hitting all the inputs that you should be hitting at the gym, but then you absolutely have to optimize everything else on the other side with your diet,
Exactly.
and with your schedule, we knew that that was going to be a challenge to start with. So creating sustainable meals that have, more than anything, they're simple. There's no complexity to it, right? Like the barrier to entry with it is not going to be so outrageous to where we're making these complicated recipes or following some sort of cookie cutter diet or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So, once we got that dialed in for you, you started to really roll on autopilot, which was awesome. And, speaking of that, we keep on talking about structure, right? And how beneficial that's been for you. But how has that had like a positive impact knowing that you're, very busy and you have a very demanding work schedule? Like, how has that had an impact on your ability to stay consistent, even being so busy?
So during the before I started the program, I was working what 14, 15 hour days.
Mm.
And I got in the gym and I got in the gym, I got in there, did whatever was open, basically I would do, and I'd be out the door. So once I started the program, I mean, I cut down on my hours for work because after talking to you, this was something that I felt I could do. I could, I knew it was going to be a challenge, but I knew if I put my mind to it, I'd be able to do it. So I did cut down on hours, which has actually helped me out a lot because it got me to be able to prep my meals. It got me to be able to get in the gym just to do more, more routine things versus, hey man, I'm driving right now to go see a patient. So I'm just going to grab a burger really quick or something like that. Having the meals prepped, it made it a lot easier for me to be able to, hey, I get to my patient, I'm done with my patient. I just pull out my meal really quick. I'll eat it and then I'll drive to the next patient. So in terms of work and doing that, a lot of it, I had to cut down on my work to be consistent with things, but it was the best thing I did. It really changed my lifestyle. I feel a lot better today than I did a year and a half ago. I mean, I feel like a whole different person. I've built muscle. I built muscle in places I probably never thought I would. Like my arms got bigger. I got strong. I got a lot stronger. I got more. I got a lot. I built more strength versus I think I'm building, like looking more fit because my strength went from barely lifting, like let's say curling 25 pounds to, I think the best I got up to was like 45 pounds or something. And that was again through the whole structure routine that we had going, that you had me going on. Just having the workout set for me made it so much easier too. It's not I'm going in the gym and guessing, hey, like, oh man, I feel like doing arms. Let me do this and do that. No, doing it every week, you know, similar activities, similar exercises, and having that routine just it kicked butt, man. It helps so much.
It's so awesome. And I always get so excited whenever I see like the personal bests inside of our app where we have
Yeah.
like the personal records, like new
Yeah.
weight's been added, a new strength, or record number, right, with a certain weight. And it's funny because like it was slow and gradual in the beginning because we were kind of waking these muscles up. I like to say like we're telling them a secret because they haven't been, woken up in a while. So we're just kind of poking at them and then they just wake up. And it was just one after the other, like six personal bests, five personal bests on like every single workout of yours. And obviously that had a really big impact on your metabolic rate. You're able to eat more and still lose body fat and, create more of a sustainable change. And yeah, speaking of that, your strength obviously went up tremendously. But when it comes to like your overall health as well as your like the fat loss that you experienced too, like do you mind telling us a little bit more about that too?
Yeah. So fat wise, my biggest issue I had fat was in my chest, chest and my stomach. After starting the diet or not diet, but after the prep meals, eating healthy, I would say within a month, I started seeing a a lot of the fat burning. And then after the year, man, that was, vision wise, I was in the best shape of my life. I've never lost so much fat. I still get to the gym and I know what to do at the gym now, you know, but in terms of fat, I think when I started the program, I believe I was like at 158, and that was probably more fat than muscle. And then I think the last time I got to weigh myself, which was a couple of months or 2 months ago or so, I'm up at 165, but it's muscle. So I gained about 7 to 8 pounds of muscle while losing a lot of fat. But the fat thing, it comes back to when I would put on a t-shirt, man, it looked like it had man boobs, I hated that. And after doing everything, the eating properly, the workouts, I feel confident, man. I take my shirt off and I feel great. It's not, I like in the corner trying to hide away, shy away anymore. I don't have to, I don't care. I feel proud of my accomplishments.
That's awesome, Andy. That's so good. That's like the best feeling in the world whenever you're going on a journey like this. And I think that's why it's so important to look at the how you look, how you feel, how much muscle mass you're putting on, and then the number on the scale. Whether you're looking to lose 5 or 50 pounds, a lot of people just get, the whole equation flipped backwards. They just only focus on how much weight they're losing. They don't really take progress pictures. So I feel like that's going to be a huge takeaway for anybody that's watching this right now in your case, right? Because, with you, we really just need to optimize your body composition, your health, and get a structured routine going. So, I mean, if people will see with your before and after picture on this, right? It's insane. Like the amount of muscle mass you'll be able to put on with your upper body and how much the body fat percentage has gone down just across the board. So, man, just absolutely remarkable. So quick question as well. Just want to take a bit of a turn here. We talk about all these positive changes and how they've had an impact on you, but I'm just curious, like, how's it had an impact on the people around you as well, like your family, friends, and your coworkers?
Oh yeah. So, I mean, it took a little bit of time, but I would say after probably like maybe 4 to 5 months into the program, I started having my family would see me and they'd be like, "Oh, what's going on?" I mean, you know, it was a transfer. The transformation, they were seeing it, which it was awesome to hear. Hearing somebody compliment you like, "Hey, you looking really good," or you're working out, you're doing good. That was good. One person in particular that really I think had a big impact was my cousin. So my cousin in a similar shoes as me, working, not in shape, and it kind of motivated him to get into shape. He went a different route. He didn't go through you. He found somebody else to go through. But I think the transformation he saw me going through, it kind of motivated him to want to do something on his, for him too. So I mean that was an awesome feeling, that knowing that, hey, what I'm dedicating to, or what I'm trying to build up to is people are noticing, people are taking note to that, and that's like one of the best feelings you can have.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's a total game changer when you start to see the impact, not only just from yourself and what you can see from your own eyes, but from other people's as well, you know? And sometimes it not only feels just as good, but it feels better because you have that validation to know that you are truly on the right path. And just curious to know too, from because I know you mentioned earlier that you were going through some stressors, you're working a lot of hours, right? What sort of positive impact did this have on you mentally and emotionally as well once you had a well-structured plan?
Oh man, uh, the stress levels, going to the gym, having consistent good workouts, man, my stress levels just dropped. I was able to channel a lot of that stress I had into the workouts, which made a world of a difference. The eating healthy, that definitely helped so much too. It goes neck and neck, right? The eating healthy, the working out. So it definitely played a big factor in reducing stress. Just it, even motivationally, it just opened my eyes and it kind of gave me more motivation to be happier, man. It just made me happier. And I think anytime you could get in the gym or get physical, stress levels come down and you get in a happier place. So being able to do that every week, man, it was what I needed. It got me through a really tough time with the whole stress, divorce, working stuff. So I'd do it again. Let's just say that if I had the opportunity, I'd definitely do it again. And I
Yeah.
recommend it to anybody because I was one of those guys that, man, I thought I couldn't do it with my work level or my workload, with the whole dealing with the work life, the home life, all that stuff. And then once you get going, you go, damn, I could do this. I could get it going. And with your help and with your routine that you help set up, it makes it possible. You know, Somebody that thinks they can't do it, man, trust me, I was that guy. I never thought I would be able to. And I was able to. It takes dedication. It takes a lot of mental, what's the term, like mental focus to do it. But once you get going, it's a lot easier than you think it's going to be. And it's fun, man. It's fun. Getting results makes it fun. And that's the big key. When you go into the gym and you're just lifting and you don't see any change, it's like, man, what am I doing? Well, I'm just wasting time. But when you start seeing those results, man, it makes you go, man, I got to get in the gym tomorrow. I got to go. I got to go. I got to make time to get in there. And that's what I was doing is I was having more reason and finding time to get in the gym because, man, I wanted to, right? It made me excited. It made me happy. It made me feel good. So, I mean, it was an awesome experience overall, and it helped reduce a lot of stress.
And that's so good. That makes me so happy, because like the gym truly is happiness and optimizing your nutrition even as well. It truly does lead to happiness when you stack all the odds in your favor. I mean, you're not only improving the health of your body, but you're also improving the health of your brain. Like you directly increase the level of, serotonin whenever you work out, BDNF. I mean, we can go down the list of all the benefits, so the fact that we, got something that was sustainable, well structured, that worked for your schedule, and we were able to just kind of rinse and repeat it, all of that started to compound too, other than just the fitness benefits. And I want to touch on a couple other things too with, the doubts and the fears, right, that you had before coming into the program. And
Yeah.
like anything, right, anytime you try something new or different, we always have that, discomfort. Our brains are designed to keep us safe rather than happy, right?
Right.
And with that being said, what made you go, you know what, like, I may like kind of like doubt myself here, like on like what you were saying earlier, right? On if I can stick to this. What made you say, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and jump in and do it anyway?
So one of the things was after the first interview with you, the first Zoom call with you, you answered a lot of the questions or a lot of my doubts or a lot of my fears, I should say. And then the other thing I would say is once I saw the routine that you had built for me, I said, okay, this is achievable. And then the hardest thing I would say though, for me going before the program was the nutrition part. Because of my busy schedule at that time, I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to do the nutrition. So in my head, it was like, okay, I'm going to go to the gym with the workouts, but then the nutrition part's not going to be there. So that was probably my biggest fear in terms of following the schedule or the routine that we set up together is letting down the nutrition part. But again, once I kind of started seeing what type of foods were helping me or, eliminating this, eliminating that, bringing this into my diet, bringing this into my meals and what it was doing made it a lot simpler for me to plan, which helped kind of which got rid of all the doubt and all that fear that I had because it made me go, you know what? Hey, I don't have to build up. I'm not trying to go from 0 to 100 in one day. And that's what my fear was with nutrition. I'm thinking, man, I'm going to have to cut all this out and start doing things that I've never done before and having time to go to the grocery store to buy this, buy the vegetables, things like that. I'm like, I'm not going to have that time. But actually, we do have more time than we think, and I ended up having more time than I thought I had. All I had to do was cut a few hours of workout and I was able to, what do you call it? Substitute that with going to the store, prepping, gym. And again, it made a huge difference.
Yeah, it's so critical, right? To have a good understanding of the optimal diet that's going to be for you, and then being able to apply that knowledge.
And
And
having your help though, that made a world of a difference. Having your help to kind of coach me in what to stay away from, what to eat, what to lean on more, that actually made it a lot easier for myself too. Because if I was going into this blindly, man, I would have been lost. You know? But having the coach factor from you saying, "Hey, try to cut down on this, try to increase your protein," that gives me an idea of what I need to work on, and that helped me out a lot. That gave me a way better understanding of what I can and can't, what I need and what I don't.
yeah, 100%. And when it comes down to it, really what we're just doing is we're just collapsing time so you can get to, where you want to go even faster by just, funneling in all this knowledge. And with that being said, when it comes to nutrition, like compared to where you are now, like the Andy you are right now, compared to where you were before we started working together, like what do you feel like is the difference over your control over your eating patterns, your diet, and your ability to use your diet to see incredible results with what we went over?
Oh, so number one, protein. I was barely eating protein when before I started the program. And it's again, taking the time to prep everything. It was faster for me to go grab whatever I can, a burrito, whatever it is, and just gulping that down versus prepping. And then, because again, when it came to the prepping thing, I always thought that it was going to be difficult. I'm going to have to make sure I do this, do that, do this, do that. But it wasn't like that. And then right now, everything that I learned through the program, I still am consistent with that. The amount of protein I take in, it's the same thing that I would record on the app. The same meals, the same stuff. I'm in the same routine. It helped me build a routine on my meals, which I still feel a difference compared to before. Before, the food I was eating was sluggish. I would be sluggish. I'd crash in the middle of the day. I'd crash. I'd be exhausted that I'd crash. Once I started eating healthy, eating the proper foods, changing the diet up, I had energy in the middle of the day. I wasn't crashing in the middle of the day. Instead of that crash, I'd have a high where it's like, let's go, let's get this day going. I felt like I would start my day in midday. So the nutrition part really, really gave me more energy, and it gave me more, what do you call it? Like, just made my body feel better. You know, when you eat a hamburger, man, you're gonna feel the consequences of that. Even today, I'm not gonna lie, I've had a hamburger not too long ago, and after I ate that thing, I felt like crap. And I said I can't do this, and I haven't had a hamburger since. And it took me a long time to eat that one. It's just I can feel the difference. I can feel the good food versus the bad food. And even to today, I can still tell what's good for my body and what's not. And I can't believe what I was eating before versus now. I'm so happy. I'm excited that I still get excited. I still get happy when I eat, when I know I'm eating properly and eating foods that are benefiting me versus eating something that's just gonna make me crash or gonna build fat or something.
Totally, 100%. And that's why it's gets really fun once you really start to build momentum because you almost get addicted to being healthy and eating healthy versus addicted to the opposite because there's actually a net positive reward to that behavior. And it's never ending. You can always be better, you can always be healthier. And it's just a never ending, positive rabbit hole that you can go down. And speaking about nutrition, you've done so well there with not only what we were able to do, what with our one-on-one calls with describing how insulin works, how we can lower insulin to help you unlock the body fat stores around your chest and everywhere else. By literally just knowing what specific foods for you based off your specific situation, your physiology, your goal weight, right, your goal body composition, metabolic health, all those variables. Once you actually have that clear idea of what that foods to eat and avoid list should look like, it all comes down to consistency and accountability from there, and I feel like that definitely was a huge factor for you as well. So really, really proud of you there, man. Super good. Of course. And one thing I wanted to end this off with is, if somebody is on the fence right now about getting one-on-one direct help that needs to lose body fat, they need to optimize their health and maybe build some muscle too. They've been thinking about making a change, but they're just still kind of on the fence, maybe have some similar fears or doubts that you did. What would you tell that person that's just kind of on the fence about making a change and, joining the health optimization program?
So the beginning stages or just thinking about it is scary, it's fearful. And again, from my experience, before I talked to you, the first Zoom meeting, I had every doubt in the world that this isn't going to work for me. It's not going to happen. But once you see the light, or once you kind of, so once you gave me the routine, or once you went over the routine with me, what you expected of me, I said, okay, I could probably do some of that. And then once you get going, it's like your foot's on the gas pedal, you keep going, you keep going, you keep going. And then it's like, man, this is easy. You know, the fear is always going to be there in everything we do in life. Even this, spending the time or dedicating the time to build up your body, a lot of us take that for granted. And I did too. I'll be the first one to admit it. Before we started this, before we hooked up and we started the program and everything, my body was like, whatever, and the fear was like, yeah, everybody's staring at me, I look fat, I'm this and that. And the confidence was low. And then after talking to you, I felt like, hey, you know what? This is probably achievable to a certain aspect. I didn't expect to get the results that I got. I'll be the first one to admit that. But again, it's like that after we jumped into it, it was smooth sailing. You made it simple. The dedication, the time I put into it, I saw the results. And that's the thing. I felt once I started putting the time and effort into it and I started seeing results, I was like, man, this is worth it, right? This is worth taking that jump to do something that I probably never thought I would do, or that I didn't think I could do. Because seeing the results makes you confident. And once that confidence kicks in, you're good to go. And that the program really, really brought out a lot of confidence in me. Because again, before I was not confident at all. If I went to the beach, man, I'm the guy with long sleeves on, wearing a sweatshirt, like that oddball, right? But now I'm like, I'll be the first one to take off my shirt because again, the confidence of everything I went through built up to it paid off. And anybody that's thinking about it, that has doubts, going from a 15-hour day, thinking that you're not going to be able to do this, man, going through divorce at the same time, feels like you hit rock bottom. Stress levels are super high. Thinking there's no time in the world to do this. It's possible. It's possible. With Bobby's help, it's possible. He works with you, worked with me, helped me schedule things, made it simple. And then from then, I flew through the program. And I have no regrets. Like I said, if I had to redo it, I'd redo it a million times. I had a positive experience. Anybody trying to do it, it's possible. It's possible. Even that little bit of doubt, once you overcome it, you're gonna get results and you're gonna change and go, wow, I can't believe I was doubting to even try to do this.
Man, that's so powerful. And I'm so, so happy for you, because that's where we get like the most satisfaction too, whenever we start to see our own results. Like people talk about motivation all the time. There's no motivation that could match the type of, intrinsic drive you get from seeing a change in the mirror or a before and after picture after a month. You don't need any other motivation once you start to see that. And then that's when the momentum, which we talk about a lot, we say that word a lot, momentum, right? That's where it all comes from. Once you actually start to see those visible changes and quick wins, it just snowballs. I'm so, so happy to hear that from you because you just took it and ran with it. And you were such an action taker and did such a good job to where it happened 10 times faster than how fast it normally happened, right? And the results really do speak for themselves. And there's a reason why they're up there with the amount of guys that we've worked with, overall. And it speaks volumes, man. It's really, really
Yeah,
cool, man. So
it's great.
how happy are you that, from a place of discomfort that most people would say, like, okay, I better just, stick to what I'm doing. Like, how happy are you that you took that jump and you saw all the results that you were able to see?
Oh, man, yeah, I'm ecstatic. I'm excited I did it, because I knew if I hadn't tried the program, then I would still be where I was a year and a half or a year ago. I would still be, kind of overweight. I would still be lifting just random stuff, not having a routine. I wouldn't have built the muscle. I wouldn't have gotten into the shape that I am right now. So, I mean, if you gave me a scale, 0 being I wouldn't do it, 10 being I'm glad I did it, man, I'll give you 11, you know? I'm happy I made that choice we went for it. I went for it. You know, it again, it was nerve-wracking, don't get me wrong. It was nerve-wracking. But once I started seeing that, hey, this is attainable, this is doable. And then I started seeing my results. Then I mean the rest was just it took off.
Yeah,
It-
that's so good.
That's I got more excited, more excited, more excited because I would see more results, more results, more results. So definitely, I mean, anybody thinking about it that's kind of up on the fence, like, hey, I don't know, try it. At least try it. Try it even for a month or two. You know, as long as you're dedicated, I believe in 2 months you'll start seeing results. You might not get to where you want to be, but you'll start seeing results as long as you're dedicated. That's the other part is you have to be dedicated to it too. You have to be willing to put that time in for the meal prep, for the workouts. It's you help set it up, but you can't do the workout for me. You can't come and prep my meals for me. But the coaching, it makes it easier to do all that. Versus if I had to do this on my own, I probably would be blind. I wouldn't know what to do, how to do it. So definitely the program was well worth it. Again, I can't thank you enough. It changed my life. And I'm pretty sure it could change a lot of other people's lives too. With dedication and your help, man, anything's possible.
And really appreciate the kind words, man. And there's nothing more important than dedication and commitment because you really can have the absolute best plan to follow in front of you. But if that commitment level is not there, then it really doesn't matter how good the plan is itself,
Right.
So, and that really speaks volumes with your situation because, we had the best of both worlds and that's why you're able to see such amazing results. So I'm just so, so happy for you, Andy. And man, just wish you nothing but the best continuing to go towards the future. We're definitely going to be, real tight going forward in the future. Right. So, man, I'm so glad we connected. I'm so glad I was able to help you. And I hope this helps everyone else as well that's watching right now.
Yeah. Everybody, man, give it a shot. Trust me, give it a shot. It's worth it. You'll see the results as long as you dedicate to it.
100%. Well, real cool. Real cool. Really appreciate your time, Andy. Really appreciate it so much and breaking down your entire story and what the results you're able to see. And if you want to see results just like Andy and you want to lose body fat consistently and sustainably and optimize your health, message me the word ready on Instagram down below, or you can fill out the form down below in the top of the video description if you'd like to work with me one on one. But other than that, feel free to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye bye.